When you talk about the security sector transformation in Zimbabwe, while we might want to see everything on social media, it's also strategic not to, because we are dealing with a delicate topic and subject where you would have your younger generation saying, I want to see ZPSP on Twitter, I want to see them on YouTube, I want to hear but at the same time, our state is not yet ready for that fast track kind of security sector transformation. They have a knowledge-based kind of approach, which also requires a kind of a way of ensuring that, we translate the knowledge that they have to vernacular, because we have 19 vernacular languages. I see a role of civil society as in sharing information. Sharing information in a two-way. Information from the community, from the citizens, in terms of what are the implications of the current status quo of the security sector. How is it making citizens vulnerable, and how is the current business of the day affecting people's enjoyment or asserting of the rights that we have enshrined in the new constitution. Then secondly, information sharing in terms of what is the status quo and structure of the security sector. Who is responsible for what issues or for what rights, and what are the opportunities of engagement? Then facilitating the dialogue so that people just have to get to a point where they talk to each other, not shout from a distance or ignore each other or function in suspicion. Because with suspicion, sometimes we can engage in a costly kind of gross human rights violations, because we are just not talking to each other. We are just suspecting that this one is doing this and this one is doing this. So civic society, particularly ZPSP, because they have the expertise in that, is facilitating that dialogue for information sharing, for reviewing our progress to then say, from where we are at, or from the baseline that is there, or the country that we say we want to be, where are we at when we talk about issues of security sector? What are the key indicators that we need to focus on? How progressive are we becoming? Who has the responsibility, and how do you play your part? Because everyone has a role to play and everyone has the piece of the puzzle. But to then say, depending on where you are positioned, are you going to share information? Are you going to have a monitoring system where at the end of the day you actually share knowledge to then say, this is the ideal, but this is the practice. How do we bring the ideal and practice all together?
There are a Zimbabwean organization, and my feel is that being able to be that much visible through the media and otherwise would also help them to demystify certain thinking that might be existing in the circles. It is the political environment that they would be working around in order for them to be appreciated, because they will be more visible.
They have to keep explaining themselves. That no, there are no other ulterior motives, there are no regime change agendas. Yeah, to me that would be it's not their weakness. To me, it is sort of, it's more like the challenge in their mission. So their weakness, but a challenge in their mission is that one can choose to perceive them in a different way than what they are intended to. The nature of security sector reform. You also confirm that even at the AU level, it remains an issue which is too much of debate. In my view, and I'm very convinced, that if you take it too much of as a public lecture issue, general debate, you are not bound to win. Because in a general debate, you don't have the advantage of addressing specific smaller groups and individual issues. They'll just listen to you and then make their own mind. This is something that only should be very focused. Focus groups, as they sometimes call them. If you want to succeed in this type of, and Lord, let those people then permeate again outwards and say, oh, no, this is not what it is.
You have also got civil society that has also accepted the concept of security sector transformation. They now know that they can talk about it. We've roped in the academia themselves. It's now being taught at the schools. I think it's actually good timing to start talking about it publicly.